think one of the things that was when we started connecting with your team was what I liked was you all were able to provide a safe place where a seller could sell to somebody that they felt comfortable selling to versus you have to sell to PE, you can only sell to PE and just forget about it, right? So I think that was really, because like when you're selling this company, when we stopped practicing with our company and when we're guiding people through the end, it's a grieving process. And like some of these people have spent 20 years plus just building this thing, sweat, blood, and tears. And so giving this up to someone, it elicits a whole lot of feelings. Yeah. And so being able to give that to somebody that you feel will carry on your values and your goals, it can make the process much easier.
Yeah, and Stephen, that's a premise of our firm. I think part of the reasons we don't work in transacting restaurants or car washes or strip malls or anything like that is we believe that healthcare is different, right? And so many of the owners that we've had the opportunity to partner with over the years didn't start their practices or agencies for the purposes of exclusively making a buck, right? It was, hey, I have a child. Hey, I had a parent. I had a sibling. I had a family member, and I didn't like the experience they had, and I decided that I was going to do it better for other families. And so, that's a huge reason that we focus in healthcare, because from our observation, we felt like we didn't see enough of that out in the space, right? We feel that transacting a healthcare business should be different from transacting a restaurant or a car wash, right? And so, we take a lot of time to understand the businesses that we get the chance to work with and partner with. And a big part of our messaging is really anybody can put numbers on a page, right? And that's not that complicated, but knowing the specific service lines of our clients enough to be able to tell partners and buyers and investors what makes them truly different is where I think we really excel, and is a part of our process that's really not talked about enough. And so that's a core principle of our firm.
Yeah, I think that's great. And then the other thing that was awesome about what you all do is if you are above 3 million in revenue, you're willing to do that free valuation, which is amazing. So even if you're not ready to sell, you can kind of kick the tires and see what it's like, right? What could I potentially get out there? How can I improve so that I can get my potential right? So I think that could be very helpful too.
Yeah, and there's no Zillow for what's my business worth, right? Yeah. You can't go online and see very quickly, what your business is worth. And for most of our clients and partners, it's their most important economic asset, right? It's not only, from a sentiment, hey, it's their baby, right? It's what they've spent their whole career building towards, but economically, it's also very impactful for them, right? And so we provide a complementary valuation analysis process that is not only is, hey, let's look at the numbers, but also, with our ABA expertise, allows us to ask the questions that really have an impact on value outside of how much money you made, right? And so it gives you a very good baseline for whether you're looking to sell in 6 months or 6 years, right? That's the other thing I love about being able to provide that is most of those exercises we're not doing in anticipation of transacting that next month, right? We're doing, as a true service and to be of service for the business owner. And sometimes that's doing that same exercise 3-4 times over 3-4 years. And we like that because it gives us the opportunity to truly get to know the business and see it grow along the way.
Yeah, I think, and having that visibility of like, okay, this is what you're making, this is how much you could potentially get, I think gives them the visibility so that they know where to go. Okay, do we just go ahead and sell, or do we grow this for a few more years, or, kind of they can get some visibility on what they need to do. So.
Yeah, I want to slow it down just a little bit. And you guys kind of hit on it a little bit about valuation, but I want to take it a step back and like, let's take a second to talk about what a valuation. I mean, you could kind of get the context clues of what we're talking about. But if someone is like completely new to this, you know, because there's a lot of us out there who are, especially clinician led businesses, who are just figuring this out one step at a time as we go, and might not even know what evaluation is or what the purpose, why is it important to do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so from a mechanics perspective, you know, we're looking at, you know, various aspects of a practice, of a business, and we're making an analysis based upon our broad exposure to other agencies across the country. So what you touched on there briefly, April, is I think is a great point. A lot of folks assume it's just, hey, you know, how much money do I make, right? And that's the sole point. It's really not that. It's tons of other variables and tons of other factors, both within the business we're looking at, but also within the market more broadly, right? Our specialization in ABA allows us to know, hey, if we're doing a valuation for a practice in Illinois, what else do we have going on in that state, and how might that impact the valuation for we're doing that we're doing for that owner in that instance? So it is an analysis of profit, but it's also a look at, hey, with the broad, we do about 25 practice valuations every month. And so we bring in a tremendous amount of volume, and that allows us to form a really good comp set for business owners that are just looking to understand, hey, how's my business doing, right? Yeah. It's not just what's the dollar figure I could sell it for, but also how do I stack up to my peers? How do I stack up to people that are bigger and smaller than me? You know, am I in line? Am I overpaying my clinicians? Am I spending too much with this vendor? Am I growing the right way? Should I be focusing on a different payer source? Should I move from a home-based model into a clinic-based model? All of those things are things we take into account. So it is a tip to stern analysis of the business. First of all, to validate that the business is reaching its fullest potential and output. And a lot of times those conversations are, hey, you shouldn't sell right now, right? You need to wait. Right. Let us introduce you to our great partners like 3Pi Squared and others that can help you to really turn your agency into what it should be. And then let's go maximize that outcome later on. But it's also a litmus test of whether the business is performing as it ought to, as compared to our internal comp set from the countless other agencies that we evaluated.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's so clear. When we were at the end of our business, when we were deciding what to do, and we've shared before that we actually ended up not selling. Yeah. We ended up just closing. Yeah. We tried the process, and this was what? Is it 5-6 years ago now?
I don't even remember anymore.
6. Yeah, it's been, yeah. But to our knowledge, there was no one out there that was doing this, right? Like that was really, ABA, all of these peripheral support companies, that are out here now that are just phenomenal. They weren't there even 5 or 6 years ago. But anyways, the point being, we tried to give it to our staff, our clinicians. We offered our clinicians, do you want to take over? And they said, absolutely not. No, thank you. And then they jumped ship.
Yep.
And, we were told, don't tell your staff.
Well, we did. Right.
And, lovely. I mean, I still have a great relationship with the ladies, those ladies today. And they had to take care of themselves, right?
Of course.
And then we looked at like selling it to another small owner in the area, just doing like a I don't know, what is it, for sale by owner kind of thing? I don't know what you call it. And have her come in and then like me stay on and then fade myself out. But it was so rocky. Yeah. And it was so complicated and it was really stressful. And by that point, I just wanted to be done, and it was right after COVID and all of that too. So there was a lot of complications there, but, so as we're learning, as we were talking to your team, we've had several conversations with your team and learning about this opportunity. It's one of those things that I say often these days. Oh, I wish you guys would have been around when we were doing this, or we would have known about you when we were doing this, because it can be super overwhelming. But that kind of leads me into, we also coach business owners to have their exit strategy from the get-go. Right from the beginning. And so you can prepare.
Yeah, I mean, I just, like, for anyone that's considering or thinking about selling, like, if you've ever had the experience of selling your house, it's like about 50 million times worse than that, right? Like, so it just if you get anxious and you were offended by the buyers of the house and what they wanted you to fix, just like, imagine that by and multiply it by, I don't know, infinity. So
50 million's a good mark. Yeah.
Yeah.